Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Comic Book Showdown of Ultimate Destiny. Are you struggling to get your comic funded? Do you want more eyes, more backers, and a pitch that actually sells? Then welcome to the one show that helps indie comic creators win. Today, Destiny will choose 3 indie comic campaigns for us to review. We will choose one of those based on which one had the best presentation. So stay to the end to see which one is chosen, because in the end,
there can be only one.
welcome, everybody. It's Friday again. How are you, Smurf?
Good morning, sir. You ready for this? Light the fires, kick the tires. Let's see what Destiny decides for today.
Yeah, we are excited here. In fact, this is episode 54 of the Comic Book Showdown, where we break down the best indie comic campaigns on the internet. Last episode, we checked out Zen Bounty Wars and Aliens West and Deadhead #1. We uncovered some great things about these campaigns, as well as some things that they could work on, like strong voiceovers, smart pricing tiers, things like that. But in the end, there can be only one. So our winner was
Deadhead.
Deadhead. They crushed it with a pitch that hit the sweet spot.
It did. They hit the cheap seats for sure.
Yep. And hey, if you've got a campaign coming up and you want to, if you ever ask yourself, I wish someone could look at this ahead of time, stick around, because we got something brand new that's going to help you do just that. But enough about last week. We got a great lineup this week. It's got monsters, heroes, cybernetic soldiers, all kinds of stuff.
That sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon escapade.
Yeah. So stick around to see who's going to be spinning on that wheel. We got comments rolling in. Benjamin's with us again every Friday. Welcome. Benjamin says, hey, is there a comic you've bought that you've instantly regretted?
Anything by Liefeld.
Smurfs hatred for Liefeld coming to the surface immediately.
Recently there was the Knights versus Ninjas. I picked that up and it was just not for me. That was out of Image. That's the most recent one that I was most disappointed in.
Right on. Let's see. For me, I think the one that I regret are the ones that I don't buy. I'm like, somebody's like, hey, did you see this comic? It was so good. I'm like, oh no, I didn't get that one. That's the ones I regret.
Well, I mean, literally, it is like the Wheel of Destiny when you're looking at the rack and you have, the stack of books. And what do you get? I mean, you got your new stuff, you've got your staples, you got your up and coming. You don't want to miss out on anything. So, like one that I'm most proud of picking up at the beginning is Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, which is this great story of the samurai and this cowboy in purgatory that are fighting off demons every night. And then there's this other faction, and there's a lot of amazing components, and I absolutely love it. The artwork is spectacular, and that's by Image as well. So, I mean, Image at least tries, but so it's hit, it's miss. It just depends. Jeff Lemire is doing a great job on Absolute Flash. I think it's about to surpass Absolute Batman, and I've loved that book. But Lemire does such a good job with his character development and the twists. I don't want to give away the monkey story, but oh my god, the monkey is fantastic, and the tribute to Y the Last Man cover, it was good.
There are some great comics out there right now. Matt's here with us, says Ben's trying to get things spicy right off the jump with that question. Yes. Ben's been good at that lately, coming up with questions to get things kicked off. I love it. So before we get into the the Wheel of Destiny. I got a quick detour. I'm trying to pull up here. So sometimes a campaign is too big for our show, or hold on, get down. Thank you. It's like trying to lay right on the keyboard while I'm trying to push buttons. So yeah, sometimes a campaign is too big. Sometimes it's like, a big company, and so like it's not really fair to have it on the show, but it's also too cool not to mention. And so I want to showcase this one. I don't know if you've seen this, but I think you'll get a kick out of this too. I'm gonna go full screen here for just a second. This book is called The Disavowed, and oops, hold on. It is by Josh Blaylock, who is from the G.I. Joe. Okay, thank you. From the G.I. Joe campaigns, G.I. Joe books. You guys probably remember his name a lot.
Yep.
So this book, Disavowed, is being pitched as G.I. Joe meets the boys. So G.I. Joe 80s nostalgia mixed with brutal, bloody edge. So I think I'm going to be interested in that. I'm sure Smurf is probably going to be interested in it.
Yep.
And, it's kind of like, what if Duke snapped and went full Punisher mode on it, I've been looking through this campaign. It has the same look as G.I. Joe. A lot of the characters look like parodies almost of them. Like in this shot here, you see like a Destro looking character and like, a trooper. But this is from Massive Publishing, which is also a pretty big indie publisher, and they're doing great. But I definitely just wanted to give mention to this one because this is too big to be on our radar for the show. But I mean, look at that. That's classic G.I. Joe kind of right there.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to this. I mean, that's I think that right here is a parody of a G.I. Joe cover. And they said that there's a lot of like Easter eggs and hidden things in here. And so this looks super, super fun. I'm looking forward to checking it out. I just wanted to showcase that before we got into the Wheel of Destiny.
No, that's good. That's a nice tribute. I like that. That looks gorgeous. And I love the boys. Garth Ennis is such a twisted individual.
Yeah, and I mean it's already raised 17,000, so it doesn't necessarily need your help. But if you're into that kind of stuff, I'm sure it's going to be good. But
I'm surprised. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised that's on Kickstarter. I'm really surprised he did not pitch that to Kirkman. I mean, because he's in the Skybound family. So I don't know.
Apparently, it's going to stores. This is like a pre-launch exclusive, just for Kickstarter, and so they're sort of just getting it momentum going on it, I guess, and pre-orders.
Okay.
And these
testing
books,
the waters.
I believe the books that they're having on the Kickstarter are like exclusive covers just for Kickstarter, that kind of thing. But yeah, it says somewhere in the campaign that this is coming out in stores, and so let's see. Out of Touch says, small question: how does an artist know when they've crossed the line between being inspired by a character and basically copying it? There's a lot of different debates about that answer. I know that when it comes to like legalities, copyright will say like 10% change. Some people will say more, but honestly, like in the case of what we're just looking at, I'm sure that Josh has already got approval from all these guys to do this stuff. A lot of the same people who work on G.I. Joe are working on this project. I mean, Michael Golden's on it, and these people would not be part of this if they thought it was something. If you're doing a parody of something, like making fun of it, or like, give me a good example of like a comic style parody. But
what, like
you can go
like Mad Magazine or something like that?
Yeah, I mean,
Or
with those,
Frobisher Man. Frobisher Man did some very classic rip-off covers, not rip-off, but making fun of Marvel. So yes,
yeah,
yes,
when you're doing parody and you're particularly like trying to make something that is kind of a joke or a gag, you're allowed a lot more freedoms. That's actually written in copyright law. Um, that you're allowed to, utilize more likeness so that people know that's the character you're making fun of. But if you're making a book that's yours, and you're saying, like I just saw a Kickstarter, for example, where they're pitching it as if, you know, one of Lex Luthor's minions is the ones that got superpowers, only with different characters so they don't get in copyright infringement. Like they're blatantly saying this story is based on Superman, based on the Superman universe, but because we don't want to get in trouble, we've got different names and different costumes and everything so that they stay out of trouble. So it's a rough place to go. And the thing is, like, when it comes to Marvel and Disney, they don't play around.
they don't play around. So I can cite specific issues and times and years, but I'm not going to walk you through all the legalities. But there are specific cases of swiping, is what they refer to it as, where covers are deliberately, I mean, it's almost line for line that it looks like a specific cover. Now, they've done this in the past in jest. There's like a Fantastic Four and a Superman cover that are deliberately swiped of each other. But also, if you look like at some like the X Factor and the X-Men of the '90s, there's a particular culprit that was swiping things left and right. So it really honestly depends on the comfort level. It's also incited a riot of war words back and forth between Peter David and a lot of the industry, because he was also on this, you're swiping stuff. This isn't right. This isn't your character to be swiping. This isn't your artwork. There's also another artist that was deliberately, I don't want to say tracing, but if you lined up a print ad, like a photo of someone up, you could tell like that is that person that they just drew over. So, I mean, it really honestly depends on where you're at on the legalities. I can guarantee you, and I'm not here to pick a fight, but a lot of the artists in Artist Alley do not have the IPs to do a lot of the artwork of heroes that they do. And Disney does not play. And there are larger cons where they have come down on Artist Alley for having certain characters for sale.
I'll do a couple of add-ons to that. Number one, when I had active participation in one of these particular Facebook groups that was all about artists and indie creators, there was one time where someone posted up a picture of their character floating up in the air, big chest, and he had a mohawk. And I looked at that and instantly went, that's Jim Lee's Superman. I recognize it, right away, like every single thing about the anatomy. So I went and found Jim Lee's Superman, laid his over the top of it, and then showed it on that campaign. I was like, look, this is going to be the cover of his comic. And he's like, look, this is my character. Isn't it cool? And I'm like, you're taking copying too far, like you're blatantly tracing every hatching, every shadow, everything, and then the only thing you did was change the thing and then change it to a different race with a mohawk and calling it your own character. I'm like, that's not changing it enough. And here's the thing, what happened, like a lot of these creators, big name creators, at that time it was Jim Lee, they don't really have time to care about that kind of stuff, and they know that copying is a form of flattery, but the community like tore him apart about that and was like, you're a copier. The same thing happened to Greg Land.
Yeah, he's the one that was all, I mean, I don't want to
You're trying not to name names.
I was trying not to name names, but that is one of the big culprits of like, is this his art or is this, the Chanel ad that the image is literally swiped and traced over.
Right.
Ooh. Yes.
Well, so yeah, it's a touchy area. And the other thing I was going to add was that, I've been to a couple of different seminars at the big conventions where they'll actually have a entertainment lawyer speak about the legalities of fan art. And here's the short version. If you're selling artwork that is your version of Superman or your version of Deadpool or whatever, technically that's illegal. That is an IP that you did not get permission for. However, the question remains, well, how come everyone does it at the cons? And the answer from the lawyers is that, well, we really don't care. You're doing more service to us by promoting our company, promoting our characters, and selling your art. You don't make enough money to hurt us. But when you do at any point in time, if they say, okay, now you're infringing, they could shut you down. And so it can go one of two ways. They can say, hey, we don't like what you're doing. Your whole business shuts down and pay us money. Or number two, and I've seen it go this way, they could also say, hey, you're getting a lot of attention for your art. Would you like a job? But that's a big risk.
And so that's a big risk, especially when the likes of Marvel has shot down artists who have actually drawn the character. Ghost Rider in particular was a story a couple years ago where the original artist was trying to sell,
it's his own creation.
His own creation, Ghost Rider inspired, and some of his Ghost Rider art, and Marvel came down on him. I mean, like literally,
like we own that.
Yeah, like no, you can't do this. And he's like, I drew the character, I created the character. Marvel didn't care. So I mean, you just don't know which way the wind is going to blow, or the mouse is just not going to be happy. So, moral of the story:
don't mess with the mouse.
Don't piss off that mouse.
Yeah. On the last thing, we'll comment on that before we move on. Matt says an homage cover is one thing because homages state this is an homage of. A lot of times,
yes.
If you're going to do it, you'll see a little thing that says after Jim Lee or after so and so that people know. And Matt's got it exactly right. It's when people try to swipe it and then say this is their own creation that it all goes south, and that's when people are, because this community is small and we all have seen a lot of this stuff, so we recognize it when someone tries to pull the wool over their eyes. You're absolutely right.
I mean, it's one thing to give credit where credit is due. Absolutely. It looks like this, they're styled after this, and as an artist, okay, bullshit. You don't know. My ass. I have seen the hours that an artist puts over his pad. I had no idea. No, fuck you. Yeah. No, I'd buy that for one damn minute. The artists that slave over their tablets, their pads, just a freaking napkin has been ridiculous. And for you to sit there and tell me, I had no idea that was this. No, you did. You swiped it on purpose. You're trying to play, the doe-eyed innocent. Try it in another group, because all of the artists that I know do not naturally just swipe the Mona Lisa. You know what I'm saying? No. There's my PSA.
There for a while, Rick, I'd say before COVID, when the the conventions were like really at their max. It was really common to see these big name artists like walk down to another table where someone is selling art that is actually that other famous artist's work or a copy of it and saying it's theirs. And that artist would walk up to them and be like, hey, what are you doing? This is mine. This is a bunch of bullshit. And it was happening a lot. And then it kind of calmed down. And between then and COVID and now, we have a new issue, which is AI fakes and people going, hey, make me a piece of art that looks like Adam Hughes art. And then selling that. Funny story, I actually have had 2 different people now approach me saying that they want a commission because they saw my work on eBay. And then I go look, and the eBay work is just AI generated and printed onto blank covers.
Wow.
And so I don't know who's buying that stuff, but you're getting fooled. So
Interesting. Well, and the AI thing is an entirely different argument for a different day. But to answer his question, at the bottom line, the artist knows. To say that they don't know, I'm throwing the bullshit deck, not a card. The whole deck. I'm not buying it. Sorry, I've been at this too long. No.
All right, let's jump into the wheel and see who is going to make it onto the wheel and who's going to have some feedback today. Open up the stage. Nope, that's not the one I want.
I'm not nearly as caffeinated as I have been in the previous weeks, but I'm close. I'm close.
All right, first up on the wheel, we've got Dino Knights. Again, that one that looks like a 80s cartoon. I'm hoping to see this one on the wheel. Then we've got the League of Cryptids.
From last week as well.
It's last week. I look forward to see what that's about. We've got Sean Wood's Fog Within. I think this is the final chapter of his series. Heroes of Legend. This is a cool shot with the character standing in front of this giant dragon, I guess. And then lastly, we have an anthology. And this is, I had to check on this. It says Scott Snyder presents The Cloakroom. So when I was like, hey, this is Scott Snyder. It should have a huge following. So on this particular one, Scott Snyder has a class he teaches about writing. And in this book is a collection of short stories written by the students in that class. And so it's almost kind of like what I do for my class.
What you do.
And then I guess they get different people to illustrate it. And so this is not actually the first book that they've done. There were several other campaigns that they've done. So, but they use his name, but I don't think he has anything else to do with it besides that. And so let's jump over to the Wheel of Destiny. Make sure that's working. And are you ready, sir?
Let's fucking go!
There can be only one Highlander type situation. Behold, my Wheel of
Destiny!
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Time to spin the wheel.
Time to spin the wheel. Why is it not going? There we go. All right. Let's go. Number one here is going to be... I know some people are rooting for the Fog Within. All right. First up, we've got the League of Cryptids. Frogs Go to Loveland. That's the name of it. All right, let me pull that up, make sure I'm get that tag set up. Hey, all right, Kent. He's like, I go to push a button and he pushes my hand away. And I'm like, problem is I haven't been here. And so he is dying for my attention right now. And I want to give it to him, but I'm also trying to do a show. All right, number two, and he's back. I mean, he jumps off and he jumps right back. Scott Snyder presents and that leaves our last one. Will it be The Fog Within, Hero of Legends, or Dino Knights? Number three. Dino Knights. All right. Guys, The Fog Within is on its last week, I believe. So be sure and go check that out if you haven't already. Give them some love. They are so close to goal. They have 7 days left, and they've only got a couple $100. Go give them some love. Go give them some support. All right. So I believe the first one was the League of Cryptids. Let's see if I can do that with a cat laying on my lap here. All right, let's go to it. Share this tab instead. There we go. All right, League of Cryptids. Frogs go to Loveland, 1 through 3. Says Sasquatch, the Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, the Jersey Devil, and Chupacabra joined together to defend Earth from an alien attack. So, what did you get from that bitch?
Oh, my head just rushing with a barrage of visual imagery as all of these cryptids coming together. I mean, you had me at gone squatching, but then all the rest of them come along. I'm in.
Gone squatching.
Gone squatching.
They have a goal of 2,500 and they're at 1,427, so just a bit over halfway. 86 backers, that's pretty good, and 24 days to go. So that's still a long time to raise that money. So let's see if we can help them out today. Let's take a look at the video and see what it tells us.
Sasquatch, the Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, the Jersey Devil, Chupacabra. For millennia, these creatures have perplexed the human race. But what if they are forces of good? What if they have been sent here by a federation of more advanced alien species to help and defend the human race? That's the premise of League of Cryptids, a new comic book by Grant Lankard, creator of the smash hits Beowulf and Memoirs of the Morbid. His new comic, League of Cryptids, is a 4-part story involving these 5 creatures banding together to defend Earth from an invading alien race, just as one of their members is losing faith in the human race and questioning their mission. The adventure continues in League of Cryptids 3.
All right, what did you think, my man?
I like it. The voiceover is cryptic. I like the premise, the whole idea. I mean, the idea of what is going on in issue 3 is a little weak, but I think you get enough that you kind of can extrapolate what's going on and where they're at. Since it's 4 issues, I think it's doing well. I like it.
Yeah, I liked the voiceover. It had some fun tone to it. It added to the tone of the thing. Can't get words out of my mouth today. It added to the fun tone of the book. I always think that having a voiceover helps. All right, let's see what else it tells us. I feel like, it also explained quite a bit about what's going on.
It explained a lot, and that's why I say, like, getting details about what's happening in issue 3, I almost think it's not necessary. We got plenty of, like, okay, what's going on? And he actually did raise a question that now I'm curious about is which cryptid is losing faith in the human race? I'm like, okay, so, not everybody's on board. And my money, it's the Jersey Devil, because that bastard is just a backstabbing money hunger leech. All right, I'm just telling you that right now. But I like it. I mean, it really, I dig it. I don't think I want to know what's going on in issue 3. I just want to read the whole damn thing.
Well, and that is some people might go that way. I think it's important to have something about what happens in each issue in your campaign somewhere, so that if someone's just coming in and buying this issue, like, they know what they're getting. But going back to the story, they have they're utilizing their jump points over here. That's good. The very first one says the story so far, and here it's what it says. Unfortunately, Earth has the reputation of being the backwoods of the galaxy. These 5 mysterious creatures, Sasquatch, the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessa, Jersey Devil, Mothman, and Chupacabra, are representatives of a federation of planets unfortunate enough to be assigned to Earth. Over the millennia, they have helped humans develop and defend Earth from outside forces. League of Cryptids 3 is the 3rd issue in a 4-part story that covers the League's origin, and they face a challenge in the form of an invading alien force. The alien force is based on the real cryptid, the Loveland Frogmen. Okay, so then there's like information about the characters. We got the Mothman, Nessa, and Sasquatch, which is also giving us some look at the art, which is another good thing.
Looks good.
The Jersey Devil, our Chupacabra, and what's new in this issue? More cryptid violence, more details. One of the members of the team is pushed to his limit. And so then they've got here, this is always a nice thing to add if you have this, particularly if you are on a book that is not your first issue, some testimonials from other people, which I'm going to come back to in just a little bit. But this gives your campaign some credibility. Other people saying, "Hey, yeah, this is good." That's always helpful. Okay, so what did you think and take away from the main section there?
I think that is the wisest decision I have seen a campaign do. So not only do we get a kind of a bio on the characters, we get art of the characters. It also gives us kind of like a glean into what the interiors are without giving, because I know everyone's always worried about giving away the story, and that's fine, whatever. But I mean, it satisfies a lot of questions, helps with a lot of, okay, I want to say desires, but it is exactly that. I desire more. It is peppering my curiosity enough that I want to jump in. Again, best compliment I can ever give a book. I picked this up off the shelf.
Nice. That is the highest you can give. I love this fun, marketable concept. The idea of cryptids kind of mixed with Guardians of the Galaxy. It looks like a fun book. I want to find some ways to see if we can improve pitch and improve, viewers, get more eyeballs on this thing. One of the things that jumps to my mind here is, let me jump to home here, is the thumbnail for the campaign. And it's interesting, but it's not your high contrast, high excitement, intriguing thumbnail that it could be. When we look down here, I mean, even that one right there has some emotion behind it. This one here, hold on. Once again, must get rid of my cat. Where was I? This one here is got some emotional behind it. This one here is just like from a distance watching a creature walk through the woods, right? Don't know if they're being attacked or they're hiding from it. And so like I would like this right here is an action scene. That's going to be even more exciting and intriguing. But you got to remember that the thumbnail is for those people that are scrolling through Kickstarter and have a ton of thumbnails to look at, and that's what they're basing their choice on. They haven't gotten to see what the story is about yet. And so that thumbnail can really help to bring people in. I'm digging it. Benjamin's like, take a shot every time Matt throws a cat. So yeah, I would say, maybe going for a more high contrast, exciting cover image might help bring some people in. I love that, like I said, the pitch, the idea, it's good. It's solid.
It's damn solid.
Yeah. I would
unless
say
the tiers. What do we got for tiers? Is there something?
We're gonna jump over there. Let's take a look here. Let's see. League of Cryptids. Let's go over here to the tiers. So we've got Digital League of Cryptids number 3. Let me switch to this view so you can see it. $5 for number 3 issue. Then the print issue is $7. That's really inexpensive. Then we've got issue 3 Deluxe. I don't know what Deluxe is other than just another cover. Let me jump down here to versions. We got standard cover. Deluxe edition cover is more than just a cover. It also contains supplementary material, pinups, and processed images. So it's a larger book.
Okay.
Good to know. So we got 2 different versions of that. A Digital League of Cryptids catch-up tier, which includes Digital 3, 2, and 1 for $14. And then the print catch-up tier. So that's good. They've got, all of the catch-up tiers, none of the mustard tiers. All right. And then our top ending ones, we've got a comprehensive catch-up tier for $49 and a print comprehensive tier, which includes 7 items. I think that's the other covers plus all 3 of the current covers. And that's only $69. So I think that having a larger tier would help here.
Mm-hmm.
There's no draw me in the book or no original art or no sketch cover or anything like that. So if you're a writer, sometimes you feel limited on what you can supply. Have a conversation with your artist and say, hey, would you be willing to do a sketch? You'll get paid for it. I just need to know what you charge so that I can put it on the campaign and then charge a little extra to cover the cost of shipping and make a little bit. And see if they'd be willing to do that. Sometimes they have the time to do that. Sometimes they don't.
Well, I would, as a whale tier, offer a sketch cover for each character. Something very specific, no inks, just a nice solid sketch that involves an action scene or something that would pertain to the book, but limited to just that one cover. So that way it builds the uniqueness. You can charge a little bit more. It is a sketch cover, so that uniqueness and all of that is part of the campaign, and it does further your goal of getting to that end mark. But I think given the content, and like Matt said, it's hard to get drawn into this. I'm sure it's already mostly done. And where would they put you? As a victim? Sasquatch's date? I mean, there are just so many things that you are limited to just given the genre. So I would focus more on the characters. It's a character-driven book, so focus on that. In fact, to Matt's point at the top, I would do like the classic Super Friends or Justice League pose off with all of the characters to get the attention and get off of like the flat. I know it's kind of a tribute to Sasquatch walking through the woods. Everyone's taken that picture. Everyone has seen it. It's been all over the media. But I would do something along those lines. Let's play in further to them being heroes. So what says hero other than the classic Super Friends or Justice League pose off? There we go.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
I think if you put all these characters side by side, show what their ability is, and then to say you could even maybe do a little poll and which one do you think is would win, that you get some participation. You can put a poll in the conversation section or comment section. What is the next book we're looking at here?
Next up, we have The Cloakroom with Mr. Scott Snyder's Class, which I'm very excited to see because I love Scott Snyder's writing. He is by far one of my favorite. I mean, not only what he did with Batman, but the man is just so damn talented. So to see him inspiring future writers really gives me kind of hope that there's some good stories on the way. Hopefully. No pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Let's find out. I think the biggest thing that I always see as a challenge with anthologies is really giving us something about what's inside. So many times I see anthologies that are just like, hey, this is an anthology and these are the people involved. And that's it. I was like, well, what's inside? What am I getting? So we'll see. Hopefully, let's jump over to this tab here and go here. All right, we have the Cloakroom. Scott Snyder presents. Let's see. Over 450 pages of comic book shorts available, including the new 50-plus page issue. So 1 through 4 altogether equals over 450 pages. This one is the 4th issue. There is no video. They are at a $5,000 goal with $3,885 raised. 5 days to go, 131 backers. All right. So, so far, we got Scott Snyder presents The Cloakroom, 450 pages of comic shorts available, including this issue. So, what do you feel so far?
I mean, that's a lot to digest. And so you have previous issues, which everyone has already purchased. Let's just move that obstacle out of the way. We have 52 pages of new material. So that is where the focus must lie. And the pitch should revolve around that. And the best idea that I got thinking about it, this is just knee-jerk, is what if you just did the rundown of the premise of each, not each, but the highlights. We know there's good, there's bad, and then there's not so good at all. But so I would start focusing on, do you love romance in cars? I would totally do like love sex. I would do love sex and robots, where you've got like, a trip to the Everglades, go to an asteroid in the middle of space, find out what happens when bugs invade a planet. Just like boom, 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 do like 5 or 6 bullet points, wrap it up in a tight little bow, presented by Scott Snyder's class of whatever year, and let it rip. Because again, 52 pages of new material is so hard to digest.
Yep. Before we go back into our Scott Snyder presents, Dave Lewis has a question, and it's a question we've had many times before. So Smurf, I'm going to let you answer this one. It says, is it always good to have a video with your Kickstarter campaign?
It is not necessary, but it does increase your chances of success because everyone nowadays is very visual. You can maybe get away with, text in a video, but that means a person has to pay attention, and there's certain things. But a video, slight voiceover, 30 to 60 seconds is not going to hurt your campaign. It can only help it if it's done correctly.
Absolutely, great answer. It can also set the tone. Like if your book, for instance, when we looked at the League of Cryptids, we got a sense of like, if this was going to be a super serious, gory book, or if it's going to be a fun kind of comedic book. The video can really help set that tone much better than the wording can. And so that's another good reason to have it.
Well, and wording is open to interpretation. How I'm going to read something is going to be entirely different how Matt reads something or how you read something. So if you want to get a specific tone and environment set, then that is your responsibility. You are bringing in the reader. You're bringing in the audience. So to do that, it's your responsibility. How do you want your book interpreted? Tell them how to interpret it.
Yep. So, Dave, I know you've got a bunch of questions about video that we'd love to answer, but this show has a platform, and we gotta stick to it. So, feel free to message me those questions directly, and I'll be happy to dive more into video-based questions. So, let's continue with talking about what the Cloakroom tells us and what we're getting out of this. So we know it's an anthology. It's a big anthology, 450 pages. They are utilizing their jump points over here. And it says, this is issue 4 of the ongoing series. Not anything ongoing. Tell me about something ongoing. It's just ongoing. With 5 brand new short comics. Doesn't tell me what kind. Collected in a gorgeous, high quality book. So that is the most generic sentence I think I've ever heard.
That is so much fluff. Oh my God.
It doesn't really tell you anything. It just sounds good. And I mean, this is like politicians, just like saying words that don't mean anything. This issue includes 54 pages of surprising, sometimes dark and sometimes funny, genre-spanning, genre-bending stories. You can pick up the first 3 issues. If you miss those, that's 25 stories and over 200 comics. The stories were all written by members of Scott Snyder's writing class. Goes in to talk about that. If you missed the earlier campaigns, you can go get those. The editors and publishers take no profits. And then we get into the team behind each book. The team behind The Only Way Out is Through. The team behind The Monsters We Make. But it doesn't. I mean, the only thing that we get right here are these little black boxes. Inside it, this is. So here's an example when it says, The Only Way Out is Through, written by Casey Van Heel. And there's a 1-sentence pitch for each one. It says, a bright-eyed squire devotes his life to seeking revenge on the man who killed his gallant and beloved knight, but his obsession may cause more damage and pain than any Black Knight could.
Okay. I like that.
I feel like if that's on every one of these, which it looks like it is, a son comes back to his childhood home and is forced to face his mother, who he has become to view as something monstrous. So like these little black boxes are your pitch, and they are getting buried in all of this other stuff about telling me all about each person and their love of comics. Yeah, we all love comics. I hate to say that, but yeah, that's why we're here. We all love comics. I mean, to quote somebody once that was has been a co-host on this show, nobody cares about you.
Two things. Nobody cares, and don't bury the lead. I expect better. Come on. I don't care. I don't give a shit. You're a student, for fuck's sake. This is how you're getting a grade. And no. The story comes first. Not all this fluff, this misdirection. What the hell?
Yeah. I think that if they had taken, I mean, just imagine this, a short video, you get some, generic, free to use audio that has some excitement to it. You put up this picture, this teaser page, and then the title, and then have someone say, a son comes back to his childhood home and is forced to face his mother, whom he's come to view as something monstrous. And then you transition to the next one, and you have all these different images coming up with some voiceover saying what they do. That's your pitch. That's what's going on right here, because this is why we're going to read it. We're not going to go buy the comic. Like, I will say this: this book has built-in credibility because of Scott Snyder's name, and that's going to bring you in some people. But it's pretty quick to understand that. This isn't Scott Snyder. These are students of, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And for all I know, and this goes to something I'm sure Benjamin can relate to, is like, maybe you wrote a great 3 or 4 page story, but maybe your artwork sucks, or the artist that you got sucks. I want to see it. I want to see a page of it, right? And in this, we only get this very, very tiny thumbnail preview of what that artwork looks like. And so it's very difficult for me to look at that small scale and go, oh, wow, I want to check this out some more. Right.
Yep.
So
you're building excitement in the wrong direction. Again, all of the precursor stuff, all that whole body of work at the beginning of this pitch, they've already made their money off of. There's no reason for them to lead off with that, because that is done. It's in the past, and that should be at the end. And even on the video, you wouldn't open with that. You would open up with a new 52-page anthology dealing with a knight, and you go right into it. You do a crossfade into the next slide. You add a nice little music bed. You got that thing done in 30 seconds. It's easy, and it would add so much more excitement than me having to go down that far. I'm telling you, if this body was down at the bottom or in a tier, it would make way more sense. And I think that they should be higher than what they are, even just with Scott Snyder's name. Those should be up at the top. Whoever designed this is resting too much on their laurels. I'm just telling. No, I don't approve.
Yeah. This is where Sam has ended up. Yeah, basically at this point we're kind of, saying the same thing over again, but there's this is only 5 issues or 5 stories. So there's no reason why we can't get some good info about these 5 stories. I mean, imagine this. It says, if I said, 5 genre-bending stories in one beautifully printed book. Only way out through is a sci-fi horror with deeply personal stories rising from Scott Snyder's Substack writing class. And then, you have the next one, a cursed pocket dimension hiding inside a storage unit, or, whatever it is, like all these one-sentence pitches that come up quickly, Boom,
boom, boom, boom. And you don't have to labor over it. You really don't. I mean, they've done most of the work. It's just taking it across the finishing line. Hugely disappointing.
So, I'm going to answer your question just in a second, out of touch one. But yeah, just to wrap this up, I mean, we can take a look at the tiers as well, but this has solid credibility. It's a good project. It's just not being pitched well. And that's what this show is all about. That's what we try to help people with. They do have, let me jump over here so you can see it. They do have a digital Cloakroom issue for $8. And remember, this is 54 issues or 54 pages. So it's understandable that it's a couple more dollars than our average 5. We've got the regular edition, print edition for $15. And then I would assume they got several different covers. Then we got 1 through 4 digital, $28. And then 1 through 4 physical for $55. A retailer copy. And then we have a $90 get all 6 covers for the current new issue, including 3 trade dress, 3 virgin dress. So basically all the covers. Catch up on the Cloakroom. That's just more covers of that. I'm looking for something that's not. Oh, here's one. This one's signed by Scott. Scott Snyder will sign the cover of your choice of any of the 4 issues of the Cloakroom.
There's the money.
And so, yeah, all of the tiers are just, different versions of the book. I think their highest one here is $175 one. So can you think of something different to add to a anthology compilation book that would be more enticing?
I mean, they have the signed Scott Snyder cover. That's probably the weight behind this. The only thing else that I could maybe recommend is, of the 4 books, each one would have a cover version for that story inside, and maybe a collage of the patchwork. The problem with the anthology is there's so much in there that there's no way to focus on one specific thing, and that's what makes it difficult with tiers, because everything is done. This is completely outside influence, and you're relying heavily on your stories, which you're woefully just burying underneath all of this minutia of previous work. So it needs just to be readjusted and all of that. But I would give covers dedicated to the stories inside. If the Knights one sounds great, that should be a cover.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Mhm.
I mean that's the only way that I could think, because you have all these covers, but you don't know who these people are, and you don't have any
Mhm.
attachment to the characters inside. So I
Yeah.
would try and connect the two so it's just not so disjointed.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. That's good advice. Benjamin says, how much are they asking for again? For digital, it's $8. For print, it's $15. And then they have like lots of variant covers. I don't know who did these variant covers. Maybe it's the interior artist. I don't know. But moving on to the next one. Before we go to the next one, I want to answer this question. Then I want to take a quick pause to show you guys something. He says, I'm going through a rut with my stories and character designs right now. I hate 90% of my work. Is there a test to know if they're not good, or I'm just going through a mood? Welcome to being a creator. You're going to hate most of your work a lot of the times. You're going to go through phases like that. It's common. Just keep cranking it out. Sometimes I've made stuff that, especially because, art that like at the time I didn't like it. Maybe I was having a bad drawing day. Maybe I, was feeling sick or something, but I'll go back to it and I'll look and I'm like, the idea was sound, but the execution was poor. And so I can go back and rework it, just save it in the archives. So get those ideas out of your head, whether you think they're good or not. And you'll get past this whole, I hate my work right now.
I mean, I work with various.
Like,
He's pissed off at you. I represent another author, and I help them with the same thing. Again, they're hypercritical. They're in their head too much, and the only way to get through it is through. And this is something that a mentor told me. Not all of them are going to be Oscars. Okay, every piece of work that you do, you're going to be critical of, and that's expected. That's the process. But to put the best foot forward and work your way through is great. Neil Gaiman has said, if you wait for inspiration to write or create, that makes you a poet, not a creative. So there are good times, there's bad times, there's highs, there's lows. You just have to continually push out and then just come back.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you got to push through. All right. Now, before we move on to our third and final one, I want to mention a couple things. First of all, be sure and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're following on Facebook, be sure and share this out, especially to those indie comic groups, so that we can help more indie creators. On YouTube, we're on our way to 1 million subscribers. Help us get there. But real quick, before we jump into the next campaign, I want to share something. If you've been thinking, I wish someone could give me this kind of feedback before I launch, then we've got you covered. We're offering a brand new service. I'm going to turn off this subscribe thing for a second. And I'm even going to go full screen. All right, so we're offering a brand new service that will do exactly that. It's designed to help indie creators catch the kind of mistakes that we call out right here on the show, but before they cost you backers. This is just going live this week, and so what's brand new. And so whether you're brand new to making campaigns or you've run campaigns before, we can help strengthen your pitch. We've seen before where we've had people who have done campaigns before, but still picked up nuggets of information and improved their campaigns. As you can see here, it goes into Crowdfund Clinic. Remember earlier I was talking about credibility and testimonials. We've got tons of testimonials. In fact, Matt Knowles, who's with us today, has got some testimonials on here. And it's also try to be very, very affordable. So if we jump over here to the pricing, you can see we've got 3 levels, 20, 30, and 35. For $20, you get your campaign review. We basically look at the main body of the campaign, deep dive your title, your tagline, your page layout, that kind of thing. For the next level up, we're going to dive deep also into some of the reward tiers, whether or not you're getting the high level whale tiers, if you're doing your low level tiers right, and how you're presenting them. Are they clear? And then lastly, the full package also includes video feedback, what you can do in your video, how you can make it, come a little bit, more exciting, the audio levels check, those kinds of things. And so that's something that we now offer here at Action Line Studios. So I'm going to be dropping the link to that into the chat, as well as after the show is over, I'll drop it in the comment section. So put that in there right now, you guys to check that out. And that is going to be our sponsor for the show. All right.
But
so
it could be your name here if you wanted to be an additional sponsor for the Wheel of Destiny. Whole new set of eyes.
If anything, just go check it out so you can help the algorithm, and other people will see it when they go searching for it. Got a bunch of new people who just joined with us. Josh is here. He made it. Chris Steiner's here just in time to hear me give the pitch about our new crowdfunding services called the Crowdfund Clinic. And I've also offered in each one of these tiers, you get a little badge that says my campaign has been reviewed by the Crowdfund Clinic, just so you can feel special.
We give you a gold star.
That's right. That's right. It's quirky, but
fuck that. I want my achievement points. Piss off.
All right, let's see here. We're gonna switch over to
Dino Nights. Didn't want
to share it. I gotta try again. Share screen.
Dino Nights.
Dino Nights. Really hoping they have a video like that has some sort of theme song.
Oh God, that would be so great.
All right. So, yes, it is exciting news, Chris. Finally, after 54 episodes, we offer what we've been offering on the show before the campaign. All right. We're here at Dino Nights, and it says, Dino Nights, the once and future night. Tagline says, a science fiction Arthurian fantasy comic, dinosaurs, knights, time travel, and evil robots. The start of a new ongoing series. That's pretty good. It tells me what's in it. Tells me what's going on. I like it.
It paints a picture. Dino Nights.
Dino Nights. Their goal was at 2,800, and they are currently crushing it at $5,017 with 122 backers and 12 days to go. So they could still push right on to 6,000 or beyond. Are you ready for this video?
Lay it on me.
I'm ready for this video. Let's see what it is.
I'm so ready.
All right. It's 2 minutes, 49 seconds. So wave your hand if you're done.
Okay.
Dino Night!
Yes!
Yes! Dino Night! The movie waiting in line! Dino Night! Critical Role! Dino Night! Ultra Combo! They fight by the code of the round tables, both past and far future. Wizards, swords, and time travel. It's totally tubular.
Truly tubular.
Saving the universe.
Dino Nights is the epic story of 4 dino hatchlings from the far future, cast back in time to save all life on Earth. There's time travel, wacky science fiction, Arthurian fantasy, and radical action. My name is Zach Chapman, and I'm the writer and letterer for Dino Nights. I am the creator of various comic series, all of which you can find previews at the bottom of the campaign page. There's over 80 pages worth of digital comics available as free samples, so go check those out. This Kickstarter is to fund the print run for the first 2 issues of Dino Nights. Each has a main cover and a variant, and issue 1 has a con exclusive as well. Each cover will also have a metal variant, and those are going to be in the add-on section. Now, these are not foil or holographic covers. They're fully functioning metal covers. Here's a sample from one of my previous comics, A Haunting on Mars. This is issue 4. These are virgin covers, so they don't have the logos. They're sheet metal, like a steel Blu-ray case. So this is kind of what they look like, and they function. They're fully readable, and you can grab those in the add-ons. Outside of the physical rewards, you can get the 2 first issues as digital, but there's also 2 digital subscriptions available. So if you're backing digital, you can grab the first 2 issues for $10, or you can go all out and get a subscription to the first 6 issues, which will be released later this year on Kickstarter. Depending on what level you're backing, you could walk away from this Kickstarter with close to 600 pages worth of sequential comics. So go check out those various tiers and add-ons, and thank you so much for checking out our Kickstarter. I hope you join the Dino Knights journey.
Let's go, Dino Knights!
All right, sir. What was your takeaway from that 2-minute and 49-second video?
I came close to waving twice.
I know. I can see.
I was on the bubble a couple of times, but I stuck through it. Again, and I mean this in the kindest way. Nobody cares. All right, get rid of just give me what it's about. And I know. My livelihood is based on speaking and voiceovers, and I appreciate the difficulty that it is. It's like the number one fear people have is public speaking. Get rid of the ums, work off a script, get the camera off of you. If you're going to show me covers, show me the fucking covers. All I get is this glare from a book that you're kind of awkwardly holding in a camera that's next to you. No! Just cut to an image. Keep your voiceover going. It's easy enough to do. Just throw up a still, 30 seconds, 2 seconds, 10 seconds, but at least I can see the cover and I understand what a steel box is. And I do appreciate you trying to explain it, but it kind of like, okay, fine, move on, but more ums. And that was just driving me bonkers. Write a script, just record it independently, put it as a music bed, and just keep with your stills. And then you did close it off with, again, putting up images and just talking over it. And that was great. It was a good way to close it, but it raised more questions as far as the subscription of, okay, so I don't understand that, and I'm sure we will get to that. But I love the Dino Knights song. Oh my God, that was great. I mean, that saved you. I totally was ready to just like, okay. And then the song kicked in. I'm like, all right, I'm in.
Okay, so Smurf is not holding any punches today. He is letting you have it. And this is why one of the reasons why he's on the show. He's the video guy. He's the audio guy. He's the one that's going to really tear apart these videos the most. And he's right. The opening I was hooked. It had that 80s feel. I was ready to go in. And then it transitioned. And if you want to be on camera, it adds a personal touch. Fine, great. But use that time to tell us something enthusiastically about why you feel like we should buy this comic, not who you are or why you love comics. Because again, like I said last campaign, pretty much everyone that's in here in this world loves comics and has been a comic creator and has loved comics since the time they were 7 years old and all the same stories. That's not going to sell me your book, right? Your video sold it, to be honest with you. It did. Opening did, but like I still don't know exactly what this is really about. I don't have any information, so that's what I would have used that time for. I loved, like you said, the information about the covers. Metal covers are something that have been around for a while. A lot of people love them. I do love the ability to show that it's metal, but there is like a cleaner, nicer way to do it where you could just prop it up on a stand and like move the camera a little bit. But showing, hey, we got metal covers, we got virgin covers, that can be done on a screen while you're talking over it instead of trying to like, okay, where is that thing at here? Because it kind of like slows it down, and that slowing down makes us have opportunities to want to like step out. Because
click.
we had the exciting part already. It's a really big jump from super exciting to, hey guys, my name's so and so, and I've been doing comics. It's just a drastic jump. So if you really feel the need to do that, cut it off and put it down into the story section. You can add videos down in the lower section without it being your main video. And so you could have a video and label it about me and why I'm doing this, that kind of stuff. That way it's not tying up, 2 minutes of time. But again, that opening, I would imagine a lot of people watch that opening and then they were like, okay, I'm hooked. I don't need the rest. So that part was great. I love the song. Whoever you got, I would like to say, maybe it says somewhere down in the creative team section, because he does have his jump points over here. I want to know who wrote this song. I want to give credit to where credit's due. That was awesome, and they should be credited. Like, these are the guys. If it was you, great. If it was somebody else that played it, wrote it, like, let's give them some credit. That was awesome.
It should be a tier. If I'm buying this comic, I want an MP3 download of that song, because I'm going to play it while I read issue 1.
I mean, and this is way fitting of this. I mean, like you said, I love that idea, but like, shared this story before that, like, I worked with a creative and also a musician named McLean McGuire, who wrote me a custom Mythica tune that I've used for at least 3 or 4 different campaigns videos. But at one point, I had that audio available to download for like 99 cents on my website that you could include and play on your phone or whatever, That would be a tier-worthy thing here for sure. I totally agree. All right, let's see what this says before we wrap up the show. It says, who's going to dig into Dino Knights? Fans of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Thundercats, Last Ronin, Biker Mice from Mars, and other shows. Dino Knights is the start of a brand new ongoing comic book series. At the end of time, the Dino Knights war with the Techno Tribe. To save the fate of all life on Earth, 4 hatchling knights are sent back in time to New York. This is the catalyst that kicks off Dino Knights, an epic science fiction Arthurian fantasy comic. Our campaign debuts the first 2 issues of the series. Alert, we have a theme song, and here it is again on YouTube. Then we've got some preview pages. Always great to have preview pages in your campaign. So we've got some, dinos sitting in a theater with some popcorn, and then here we have some more Arthurian looking riding horses and knights kind of thing. I get a sense of the tone and the vibe, which, I mean, I got that from the video, but this is continuing that, doing a great job here. And then timeline and team comp. Like any good time traveling series, Dino Knights takes place in several time periods, some in the past, some in the far future. And since timelines are complicated, we made a graphic. And so we've got prehistoric, Arthurian, here and now, spoiler alert, and end of time. We've got
nice
styles. We've got some legitimacy, and some reviews are in. These are great. And then we've got the different covers that you can get. And then we get into the tiers. $20 gets you issue 1 and issue 2. So that's basically $10 a piece. That's a great deal. $49 gets you issue 1, issue 1 variant, issue 2 variant, and 2 posters. So that's a pretty good deal.
That's a good deal.
So they've got Dino Knights Year 1 digital. 2 weeks after the campaign ends, you'll receive Dino Knights issues 1 and 2 in PDF formats, plus Dino Knights issues 3 and 4 this fall, and 5 and 6 this winter. So for $39, you are basically prepaying for all 6 issues. If you just want the digital copy right now, you can get $10 digital copies of issues 1 and 2. That's $5 a piece. That's a great deal. And then we go into the physical copies. Let's scroll down and see what our big whale tiers are. Looks like $99 for both of them. The Space Wizard bundle.
Ooh.
The Supreme Physical Rewards bundle gets Dino Knights 1 and 2, main and variant covers. So that's 4 issues. Plus House of Blood Volume 1. I don't know what that is. And the complete Haunting on Mars series. Basically over 250 pages of comics. And then the other one is that let's see, 600 pages of comics. This tier is so large we couldn't fit it all in the comics image. Issues 1 and 2 delivered 2 weeks after the campaign, plus Spellsinger Volume 1, House of Blood, and Haunting on Mars, and Kaiju Blues, followed up by Dino Knights 3-6 hitting your inbox 1 day before the launch of the campaigns. So again, you're pre-ordering all 6 issues, plus you're getting all this other stuff. That's a great deal for $99. I think that's like 6, 12, 18, 24, somewhere around 30 to 40 issues for $99. Pretty good deal. There's no art rewards. There's no physical art rewards or sketches or anything like that. I think that one of the things that you can include that's always, it's about value. Like honestly, $10 for two digital books is a great deal. But you can include things like having a thank you page for all your backers, things like that. But this is great. I think this is a pretty well presented campaign, especially in the main body section. There's a lot of really great information here. We're getting to see all the artwork. And we had that cool, what is it, like 30 seconds to a minute of the opening animation. So really the only flaw I really see in this is that extra time in the video that is not super interesting. It kind of loses the momentum of the excitement that we got at the beginning of it.
Because you're up here and then you just straight down, like, whoa.
Yeah. So, I mean, keep that 30-second video, keep a few things on the end about the different cool things that you have, like metal covers, things like that, and then call it done. 45-second video, you're done.
Yeah.
And
they didn't waste the.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, they didn't waste the space in the pitch. It is a very, very well organized and executed campaign. There's literally like nothing that I could think, unless there's like an additional poster or something with the characters. I honestly don't know what you would add for a whale tier, given it seems like they've got everything organized and well sketched out. So I don't know where putting someone in the book is not really relevant here. I mean, they're not part of the story anyway. It seems like they got everything done. So unless it's additional art, I would still say 8.5 by 11 kind of like action poster, a sketch of the characters or something exclusive to Kickstarter that, if you get into stores, at least they have that. Because I could see this going mainstream. It's got a strong enough IP, I think, behind it that I could see, its own little cult following. It has all of the remedies for that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was the intent from the beginning, as we want to make something that could be taken up as a cartoon. But it definitely feels like, if you can get the momentum for this as a comic, then pitch it to an animation studio, whether it's Netflix or whoever, and say, hey, here's our pitch, which is already solid, great concept, at least from the front end. I don't know the story part too well yet. And then also say, this is the following we have, because right now there's already 122 backers. So if we continue with that momentum with the next couple, you could get hundreds of backers and say, hey, we've already got a following. Here's our campaign. I could totally see this on cartoons. I would love to see it on cartoons, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, it's that time where we decide which one is going to get our backing and support, which one had the best presentation in your mind. Leave the comments below in the comment section. Which one you feel like had the best presentation overall? Was it the League of Cryptids, Scott Snyder Presents the Cloakroom, or Dino Knights? Leave your comment below. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, hold on, he says.
Yeah,
holding the anticipation.
Okay.
All right, now he's ready. And the drum roll, please. 2, 3. Dino Knights wins. That was a pretty clear-cut winner, mostly per presentation. I mean, the one right before it, we had very, very little information, and this one had a ton of information. A little too much in some places, but all in all,
we've never hindered anyone for like oversharing, but I mean, I think there's just a better way of delivering the message, and don't pat yourself on the back. I'm sorry. I know no one likes to hear that, and you're proud of your work, as you should be, but we're not here for you. We're here for your work. I'm sorry. I know that's a kick to the ego.
That's why they call them indie comics.
That's why they call them indie comics. But you've got such a magnificent package. Let it shine. Rest on that. Rest on what you have already created, and let it speak for itself. So that way, at the end, everyone's like,
She said.
just later they're gonna be like, "Hey, who did that?" Versus, "Hey, did you see that one guy talking about himself too much?" No, it backfires. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me.
All right, guys. Great show. Great submissions today. Remember, if you didn't get a chance already, be sure and go check out The Fog Within from Sean Wood. He's only got 7 days left and is very close to hitting goal. But this week, our backing went to Dino Knights. Congratulations, Zach Chapman. Hopefully someone out there reaches out to you if you haven't seen it, if you're not watching this, and sends them to the show. And remember, if you want to get your campaign looked at before you launch, be sure and send me a message. I'll send you the link, or go to actionlinestudios.com and get the crowdfund clinic backing. All right. And where can they find more information about all things geeky, Smurf?
You can go to 5280geek.com, 5280geek on Facebook. You can go to 5280geek on Instagram. Our podcast is on all major podcasting platforms. We have our Moment of Geek. We have Weekend Geek Updates. We have Adventures in Cosplay. We have our new returning Points of Articulation, which is reviews of toys and action figures. It is a cornucopia of geeky things. So
and
by all
you can
means,
get this show via podcast. If you don't want to watch our ugly mugs, you just want to listen, you can go to a podcast on 5280 Geek.
Yes, just our melodious voices to entertain you and to fill your ear holes full of pleasure. That's what she said. And on that bombshell, your name here if you would love to sponsor us. But in the meantime, we will be at the beer launch for the Fan Expo this evening at Monkey Barrel Bar. We are also in Victor, Colorado for the Oddities Expo this weekend. So if you're in the neighborhood, come by, say hi, clink some glasses with us, drink some beer. It's an amazing time to be alive and to be a geek. But in the meantime, run fast, laugh hard, and always be kind. Good night.